Record. Aloha. I'm Dale Rosenfeld with Conscious Cannabis Conversations. Today, once again, we have Wendy Gibson Viviani as our guest. We're going to talk about nurses. Nurses, right now, this week, is National Nurses Week. I see signs at every hospital, at every medical facility. What a wonderful thing to honor the people who really are frontline caregivers. Wendy is a member of the Cannabis Nurse Association, which is a nursing organization, and they are being honored and celebrated as well. Wendy, would you tell us just a little bit about cannabis nurses and how that works into nursing associations in general? We can't hear you right now. If you'll unmute yourself first. Thanks.
All right, Dale, thank you for having me. And I want to wish a happy National Nurses Week to nurses everywhere, but especially to cannabis nurses. And I call myself a cannabis nurse because I belong to two cannabis nursing associations. One is called the American Cannabis Nurses Association, and the other one is called the Cannabis Nurses Network. And right now, the definition of a cannabis nurse is somebody who belongs to a cannabis nursing association, but that definition is going to change. But right now, I pledged that I would follow the guidelines and mission of these associations.
And how long have these associations been around?
I think the ACNA has been around since 2009 or 11 or so.
So relatively new, but as an association, what are the goals for Cannabis Nurse Association?
Well, the American Cannabis Nurses Association, I'll just call them ACNA from here on out, they're dedicated to promoting excellence in cannabis nursing practice. And they're doing that through education, through collaboration, through research. Some of the nurses are conducting research and also policy development, so helping shape drug laws. And I've been a medical cannabis patient advocate and working on changing drug laws in Hawaii for about 10 years. And I've developed my own educational programs and I worked with the Drug Policy Forum and Medical Cannabis Coalition for 7 years as an organizer, and got to be involved in lots of different legislative working groups and task forces.
Can just any nurse become a cannabis nurse by joining the associations?
Yeah, now you can, but the definition is going to be changing because just last year, the American Nursing Association said that they will recognize cannabis nurses as a specialty in nursing. So the ACNA and CNN helped develop some policies, well, our scope of practice. So we submitted to the ANA, and now we're working on building specialty nurse training programs, and the state boards of nursing will develop cannabis nurse licensing exams. So in the future, to be able to call yourself a cannabis nurse, you're going to have to be trained and pass a special board exam.
And so ultimately, any doctor who is willing could hire someone who is knowledgeable and hire a cannabis nurse.
Well, and even nurses could hire other nurses. The APRNs could also do that. But our main goals is to provide a cannabis nurse to any patient who needs one. So we're hoping that we're going to become consultants in the clinics, in the hospitals, in nursing homes, anywhere that a patient needs one. And, but first of all, we gotta, our goal is to educate as many people as we can to help break the stigma. Because right now, most patients won't tell their doctors or nurses that they're using cannabis because of the stigma. And there's huge stigma in healthcare professionals too, because they just don't know much about it. And so we need to educate them about not only the potential benefits, but the potential harm, so they can help patients to minimize or avoid side effects and help them use their medicines. Or keep their endocannabinoid systems healthy. You know, if you may not even need cannabis if you understand how the endocannabinoid system works. But anyway, that's our main goals, are to integrate and bring our integrative and holistic cannabis nursing to mainstream healthcare.
Wow, wonderful. So I know you, and I know you're a cannabis nurse, and that's how I think of you, and I think of all of the knowledge that you have. How many other people are there that consider themselves cannabis nurses?
I believe the American Cannabis Nurses Association has somewhere around 3,000 members now.
All over the country.
Oh, there's even one in Israel. Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, I think she's part of the Cannabis Nurses Network, but yeah.
Are there
So
any big differences between the network and the association?
the network?
Yeah, you're saying
Oh,
there's the Cannabis Nurses Network and the Cannabis
well,
Nurses Association.
they both provide educational programs of all sorts. They the major differences between the two, I can't really tell you. They both have lots and lots of committees that are working on some amazing projects. I'm part of the education committee with the ACNA, and we've helped develop a continuing education module. And with the Cannabis Nurses Network, they've been hugely active in promoting legislation, a piece called Ryan's Law,
Oh,
which
yes.
allows the terminally ill patients to use their non-smoked cannabis in healthcare settings. And they were successful at passing that law in California, and we tried to do that back in 2023 here and failed miserably, and we're gonna try again next year.
Right on.
So, but yeah, they're these are trendsetters. These are people who are responsible for paving the pathways to all the medical cannabis programs in the United States, in 38 states and DC. These are nurses who have been educating like crazy. They're right now educating others at 3 major medical cannabis conferences, and they're teaching about cannabis research and the future of cannabis nursing. And they're also honoring the pioneers in cannabis research and education and helping bring those medical cannabis programs to every state. So yeah, it's an amazing time to be a cannabis nurse. And I'm just, we're celebrating our successes and trying to let everybody know that cannabis nurses are going to become part of the medical care teams at some point. Probably take a couple of years before we're there, but yeah.
Progress is good. And regardless,
Help is on the way.
regardless of whether cannabis becomes descheduled, becomes recreational use, cannabis nurses have the knowledge of how cannabis can really help us. And as a medical patient, I appreciate you. I appreciate the knowledge that you guys share.
Well, we understand a lot of the struggles that patients are going through. For some of them, it takes years to find the right product and the right delivery method and the right strain or chemovars. And so we might be able to help them with that process and finding the right medicines and the right dose and the right way to use it.
Yeah. And that's it, isn't it? It's all about that. How to use it, how to get the most effect from it. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you coming on once again. one more time, if anybody wants to contact us, please feel free.
Please do. Please contact me if you have any questions about Hawaii's medical cannabis drug laws or about the medicines or resources for learning. And thank you again, Dale, for having me on. I really enjoyed talking about my favorite subject.
Both of our favorite subjects. Absolutely. Thank you again, Wendy. Aloha.
Hui ho.